What does it take to create a vibrant, thriving life? First, the sad news is that Thoreau was right. Most people are leading quiet lives of desperation, lacking in meaning, fulfillment, and vitality. But we choose more. We choose to create extraordinary lives. And the Art of Vibrant Living show entertains you with inspiration, empowerment, and education to create your life into a masterpiece. It's time. Let's vibe up.
Aloha, y'all. Daniel Aaron here. I am your host, and this is the Vibrant Living Show. I'm so glad that y'all are here. I'm the author of The Art of Spiritual Leadership, 40 Laws to Transform Your Life and the World. And what we do on this show is we get amazing people, and then I squeeze them. I squeeze all the juice out of them, and I make sure that they bring you incredible gold nuggets. Let's get some more metaphors going that you can apply and use in your life today. So please, yes, be entertained. Even better, though, take on some of what Karen shares with you today and apply it in your life. Karen Bonnett-Natraj is the founder of the Mental Fitness Edge, and she's an ultra-distance athlete and a transformational coach who helps high achievers build the mental resilience to truly thrive. Drawing from endurance racing, positive intelligence, and energy leadership, Karen empowers people to shift from self-sabotage into clarity, strength, and vibrant, purposeful living. I am so excited and glad that you are here with us today, Karen. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here as well.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I got so many questions. I've been looking forward to speaking for a while. First of all, though, ultra-distance athletics, ultra-distance racing, I think there are some people that don't know what that is. Would you explain to us, what does that mean?
That does. Thank you for asking that, because people don't know what that means. And so if you're going to take a run, you're going to run 26.2 miles, and a lot of people do their first marathon. That marathon was created in Greece when they ran from to Athens, and it was 26.2 miles. Well, that's a standard thing people do. So now when you take that to the next level, that becomes an ultra distance athlete. And so it's a 50K, it's a 50 miler, it's 100 miles, it's 200 miles, it's 300 miles. So that's where you get into being an ultra distance athlete.
Okay, well, let's be clear though. When you take a run, you do 26 miles. No, not most people, right? Like a marathon is already pretty, if you look at the picture of the world, marathon's pretty rare. Not a lot of people are doing that. I mean, in fact, I think not a lot of people are running, period, right? I used to joke and say the only time I run is if somebody's chasing me. And I do like to run. I play some sports. But so why, though, like a marathon is extreme for a lot of people, right? And I'm playing angel's advocate here. Why do people, why has this field of ultra distance running, why has it developed? Like, why go further?
So I want to start at the marathon. There's a lot of people. I think the marathons are growing because you have New York, you have Boston, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that you run New York, Chicago, some of these really big marathons. And you're finding more and more people, the younger people, the people that are the kids that are 17, 18, 19 in the early 20s, but you're also finding the other end of the spectrum of mainly women who have given their whole life to everything. They find themselves out of shape, and their next door neighbor says, should we start walking? Then their other next door neighbor says, should we run a 5K? Then they're like, hey, why don't we sign up for the marathon? And there's so many people that are running their first marathon. And then so in running, you go through this mental journey, I'm going to say. And at some point, they're going to go, what was I thinking? This is so hard, and on and on and on. But then when they get to the finish line, the emotions of crying and the emotions of joy and the emotions of the accomplishment, really change their viewpoint. And it's like, I can do it. And then a 50K is only 5 miles longer. And then when you get into that level, it's like, well, let's see if we can do a 50 miler. But it isn't, you're not just going out there running, right? You got to train for this stuff. You can probably pull off a 5K. You can pull off a 10K without training. But when you start getting into the marathon and higher up in the mileage, yeah, it's pretty smart to train. So you don't break yourself down so bad you can't ever walk again or whatever. But it's, we can do more than what we believe we can do. And I want to say that for myself, because first off, I would never even anticipate in my life that I'd be a ultra distance runner, ultra distance athlete at all. I mean, I remember running my first mile. My girlfriend and I said, hey, you want to run a marathon? Because living in California, you have the California International Marathon. And we're like, sure. I ran my first mile. I'm like, man, that was stupid. That was hard. That's what happens, though. And so I decided I'm going to run until I love it, because we decided to run a marathon and we did it. And so there's more people that are really getting out there and getting fit, and the inspiration. There's a lot of running stores. There's a lot of clubs, team and training, all sorts of organizations and training programs that are out there to help people move from that oh my God, how am I going to do this, to being successful on their first event. So it's pretty darn exciting.
Okay. Well, it is exciting. And that's great to know how this whole world is growing. That was astounding to me when you spoke about hundreds of thousands of people running some of those marathons. So what for you, this isn't something you've been doing all your life, the way you described it. You got into it inch by inch, mile by mile. What have been the discoveries for you? How has it changed your life for the better or for the worse? I don't know. How has it changed your life?
I like that, General. How did it change my life? So I'm a type of person that I challenge me. And when I did my first 100-mile run, I was in my early 50s. And somebody sort of inspired me to get into it. And he ended up running with me the whole time. But then I was like, at 85 miles, I'm like, I want my bike. I never want to do this again. So we go through this mental defeat. We go through this mental mindset of this is so hard. And because I've never experienced anything past 50 miles. And so what do you experience? And the person I had with me was a great mentor. And he's the one that said, I'll stay with you the whole time and you're going to finish this. And I did finish it. Well, then the next year, that's where I personally challenged me. Because prior to all this running, I was doing a lot of the cycling. So I thought, well, maybe I can see if I can do a long distance cycling with long distance running. So I did a 200K bike ride. Then I do a 50K run, or I do a 50-mile run and a 300K bike ride, then a 100K run and a 400K bike ride, just to see if my body would hold up. And so I was super intrigued with my body's recovery, my ability to keep performing and go on. So then I challenged myself to see how many hundreds I could run in a year. And then I challenged myself, let's see, this was back in 2008. Can I do back-to-back 100-milers? And so there's a 100-miler in Phoenix, Arizona called Javelina 100. There's a 100-miler that's in Sacramento. Javelina's at the end of October. Rio del Lago is at the 1st of November in Sacramento area. So I went to Phoenix, ran 100 miles, came home, recovered, and ran 100 miles. And I was blown away how my body recovered. And I did it I didn't know what to, I didn't have any coaching, but I coached myself. So I did a really strong active recovery. So Epsom baths, stretching, yoga, eating, drink, or resting really well. And I did that 5 years in a row. I completed that. So it was.
Well, and
Now I'm
how much?
intrigued with.
Sorry
Oh,
to
go ahead.
interject. How much
Yeah,
time in between those two races? What was the amount of time that you had to recover?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay,
So
your
Javelina
average
was
work week,
started
yeah.
on a Saturday morning, and I finished it in Sunday morning, 29 hours or so. And I have ran Javelina enough to know that I could run it and comfortably without being really trashed at the end. Came home in active recovery and started another 100 the next Saturday.
Okay, so let's
So
pause for a second because, again, this is not a normal conversation for a lot of people, right?
yeah.
To say Saturday morning, I started running and I ran 100 miles over the course of a day and 5 hours, 29 hours, right? That's what you did. You didn't sleep, correct? Right.
Correct.
So just kept running the whole time. Did you take breaks? Did you have a sauna in between? Did you have meals? How does that go?
So these particular races have aid stations along the way. And I always have somebody come out and pace me at night just to keep me entertained sometimes, having conversation with somebody. There's aid stations along the way. Yes, I eat all along the way, and I carry a pack with me, and I have hydration and food on me. Resting, when I would get to the where my husband was at, maybe I'd sit down in a chair for 5 minutes to
Hmm.
help let him fill up my bladder. My bladder would be my hydration pack on my back. It would be the foods and whatnot that I wanted to eat. So for anything else, no, you're continually moving the whole time.
Hmm.
And so that can be running, that can be hiking, that can be a variation of things. And so that's a continual going because you have 30 hours to complete it.
Okay, so you have 30 hours total to complete it. Okay, so
Correct.
now I interrupted a little bit there because I wanted to make sure we're getting the basic understanding of it. Um, was there more that you were going to say? Are you still on track for that?
I don't know if I had anything else to add. And
Well, okay, you did 5 years in a row of those back to back races, right?
correct.
And actually, you know what? I'm gonna take a left turn here for a moment and ask you a question that came up for me as you were speaking. I've had some phenomenal spiritual teachers over the years, and one of the basic tenets that a few of them have held is, well, the body's just a vessel for the spirit, right? The body doesn't really matter. What matters is the spiritual force that's animating it. Now, I've seen some of those spiritual teachers seem to basically not care about their body and not do anything for it. And part of this came to mind for me because from their perspective, well, it doesn't really matter, right? It's just here to serve my spirit. But as you were speaking, part of what you said is you want to find out how far you can go, like what else your body is capable of. So, and I know that you're a tuned in person on the spiritual level as well as the physical level. What do you think is the relationship between the spirit and the body and seeing how far you can go with the physical body?
I love this. And a very big yes to your statement. Yes, I take the spiritual side out there with me, and we're out in nature. I'm on the trails. I'm
Hmm.
in the trails of the desert. I'm in the trails in the mountains. I'm connected with the earth. I'm connected with nature. And um, there's one race. It's called the Western States 100, and it's here in Auburn. You run from Tahoe back to Auburn, and you're in the canyons, and you're at some point where you're alone out there, and you're on this beautiful simple track, but you're way up high and way below, so far down below you can hear the river going.
Hmm.
And there was a point in time where I so shifted from my time, my pace, my this, my that, to where I connected with the sound of the river. the rushing river, the sound of the wind in the trees, the being with the nature and just being around it because there's nothing else. And when I can become connected with that energy in the universe per se, it's amazing how I'm just in the flow of running these 100 miles. And the body is our vessel, but I believe in keeping my body as healthy as possible because I want to live a long time. And a lot of that is how is my spirit? How healthy is my spirit? And that mind body connection and being in that. So the mind body connection is about not being in that sabotaging mindset of being out there. And I sort of alluded to it earlier. I was like, what was I thinking? This is so hard. I can't do this. I'm not blah, blah. And so at that one race, I had passed quite a few people. And that's what their conversations with me was, I don't deserve to be out here. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't trained for this. I'm like, just stay with me. But they wouldn't stay with me. So when we can be in the flow of life, I mean, this is, it's a 100-mile race, but I'm also in nature. I'm connected with everything, and take that flow and that learning to still be in all other aspects of my life in the flow.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Well, and I was, as I said, angel's advocate in a way, something that I perceived in noticing some of those spiritual teachers that didn't seem to really take care of their body. It's true. They were still phenomenal human beings that exuded incredible energy and wisdom. And I thought, well, and what would it be like if they did take care of their body, if they did, as you said, have their body as healthy as possible? So you alluded to this in what you were speaking about a moment ago. What have been the biggest shifts from your learning there in how it affects your daily life, your life outside of racing?
So what I've learned in doing all these events, doing what I just super enjoy, that there's a lot of resilience. There's a lot of perseverance. There's a huge mindset on reaching my goal. So it isn't goal oriented, it's more the journey. And so I can apply that to life in my business, is that this whole business is a journey as well. It's another extension of me that I can serve the people I am meant to serve and inspire. And I bring that resilience, I bring that perseverance that it keeps me really energized. It keeps me focused. It keeps me serving and giving back. So, yeah.
I love it.
It's a whole life.
Well, and so the people that you work with, are they all athletes or endurance athletes?
So no, they're not all endurance athletes. I do have a lot of athletes in my circle. So in the 100-mile world of running, there's some phenomenal people out there. And I mean, by that, I mean, there's the top 10 that win these races, the top 1 or 2 men or women who win these races. They're sponsored athletes. They're being paid. But those are like 10 out of the hundreds that run it. So my focus is everybody else, because I have a podcast, I bring them into my podcast because it's these stories that people have. There's a lot of people who ran their first marathon. There's a lot of people who ran their first 100. So I'm going to go help a woman who's 70 years old who's going to run her first 100. And that's just inspiring. And it's the idea that we can do more than what we set than what we limit ourselves to think. Those limiting beliefs. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. I love it. So what's something that the average person who's watching or listening today live or by rebroadcast that they can take from your experience? What's a practice that they can add into their life to move toward a greater potential?
So when we were all very, very young, we probably had a driving desire, a driving dream. And when I was very, very young, that dream was finding out what was on the other side of the hills behind us. But every child has a driving dream that they lose as we age and we get older, when we get into, young adulthood and we get into working and we get into relationships, we forget who we are. And we are stressed in life and we are living something that really doesn't speak to our heart. And that's where listening to your heart, listening to really what is sounding inside there, because that's where your potential is. And I sort of realized that when I was working and my kids left, and now I'm like in this career for so long, I had a narcissist boss, and I'm like, this isn't me anymore. This isn't what's driving me. And I step into now becoming the coach that I am today and the runner that I am today, and speaking to really what inspires me. And so listen to you, go back and look at your childhood and what was your dream when you were a kid. Because that's the truth back there. Between 3 and 5 years old, there's a dream in that little kid. And go listen to it. Listen to your heart, because it's in there. We all have it.
Okay, beautiful. Well, and let's see. This I might be imagining things that are not there, though. I have a sense that what you experience with athletics, with the racing, also leads you toward knowing that child's dream. And so for people that are maybe, most of my audience would be people that are fairly healthy and use their bodies well, though maybe they're not going to their greatest potential. What would you say is the relationship between finding out what else we can do, stretching our possibility, our potential, our capacity, and that dream, that child dream that you spoke about? Does that make sense?
I think it makes sense. Let's see if I answer what you're asking. Stepping into that childhood dream, and sometimes we don't, because we're comfortable in the status quo. We got comfortable in I don't know, that I'm scared, or we stuck in the status quo, which isn't our potential. And that's why I'm saying is go back and tap into that. You can tap into it by writing. You can tap into it by just sitting being in the present moment and meditating, or tap into really what's churning inside of you. And for me, it was knowing that I actually have a very good, strong, intuitive side to me. I'm very connected to people. I'm very connected to nature. And it inspires me to go out there. It inspires me that's where I can actually be in the peace and calm, where I get my best thinking done, my best ideas that come to me. And so for people to do that, it's a gift. It's a gift that you're giving yourself, to tap into that inner child of you. I teach that in my boot camp that I have. I have that. I do a mental fitness boot camp, and we do go through a great exercise of tapping into our inner child, and we we do a little exercise of embodying and go back to remember what that little child was like. And so it's pretty darn powerful.
Okay, I love it. Beautiful. You know what you said about comfort and challenge. It's so important. And we, as a culture, as a world, technology is amazing, and we have progressed in so many ways. And there's certainly an argument to be made that we're killing ourselves with comfort, and if not so extreme as killing ourselves with comfort, we are losing our edge, right? And that's a word that you use. Losing our edge, our ability to really to find out what else is possible for us, to be alive, to be sparking. I call it that world, the mediocre monotony, the cult of meh, just being comfortable all the time in such a way that we've lost our vibrancy. So I love that you are bringing that message forward and through your experience, and especially, as a woman who ran her, I think you said first 100-mile race in your 50s. Did I get that right? That's amazing. All right. Well, time is flying along for us here, Karen. Is there anything I haven't asked you about that you would like to bring forward?
So, as we have been talking, I have a gift I can give called Unleash Your Inner Champion. Our inner champion is just kind of what we were talking about. I'm just rewording it in a different way. And so what an opportunity for people to say, I'm tired of this mediocrity. I'm tired of being status quo. Let's take a step forward. So, yeah.
Okay. So that's super kind. You've got a gift for our audience. How do people tap into that? Say more about what it is and how they get it.
So I can, you can get it on my website, The Mental Fitness Edge.
Okay.
I can also share it with you if you want, as well as, and it's an opportunity for you to kind of really think about our thoughts. Think about what we're thinking, because that's what we're feeling. When we're feeling in that dis-ease, it came from a thought. And sometimes our thoughts are so flying through our head so much, we don't even know what we're thinking. And most of them are fear-based.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Thank you. So let's make it simple for people, whether they're with us live or by rebroadcast. They can go to your website, you said. And will you say again the name of the website?
The Mental Fitness Edge.
And that's .com? Yeah, the mentalfitnessedge.com. Everybody can spell those words, and everybody would do well to spell them out and add that .com and get your free gift, right? And champion is such a beautiful. It's one of my favorite words because it's a word where that allows us to be the best we possibly can be, to live to our potential. And you as a coach and an inspiration, and as our guest today, part of what you're doing is being a champion for other people. You are championing people to live to their greatest potential. So that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
awesome.
much.
All right. Well, and I think you probably answered it, but let me just double check. Is that the best way for people to get in touch with you, also by going to your website?
Yes, it is, because you can also get on my calendar and have a conversation with me. There's a link to just contact Karen and let's have a conversation.
Okay, beautiful. Well, that's another kind gift. Right on. I love it. Thank you. All right. Well, I think then that brings us to the last question, the big question. So big, it's impossible to answer. So impossible that you can't get it wrong. And I make all those jokes because you've got a tremendous amount of experience, Karen, right? From your lifetime, your work, the races, your work with people. And now, as I ask you to distill that, to boil it down, to bring it into just one thing, if you had one thing to offer to our audience to help them live their most vibrant, thriving life, what's the one thing you would offer them?
The one thing I would offer you is pay attention to your breath. There's one gift we have that stays with us all day long that we just have it so automatically. Take a moment and sit with yourself and take a deep breath and feel that go into your body. Pay attention to your breath. That'll bring you automatically into the present moment.
I love it. And what's also amazing about breath is so far it's still unregulated by any government. It's free. You can completely ignore it your entire life, or at any minute, consciously do it just as you advised us and invited us to do. So what a beautiful thing. It literally is the key to life. Karen, thank you so much for all your work and your courage in overcoming so much in the racing and in bringing yourself out in this way. And thanks for sharing so generously in this time today.
Thank you, Daniel.
You are so welcome. All right, and y'all in our audience, thank you for... Holy moly, we had a tech error. Thanks for still being with us. Y'all, thank you. I love that you were here. I love that you are creating an even more thriving and amazing life. Thank you for being with us. See you soon. Aloha.
Mahalo for tuning in to the Art of Vibrant Living show, y'all. I'm Daniel Aaron, and may you live with great vibrancy